Hi guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I am Chronicons. Welcome back.
We're back to talk about Discovery, Season 4, Episode 11, Rosetta. It wasn't bad, honestly, but it was very much what I predicted, just hanging out on this planet for a while. I do have a few problems with the episode, which we'll get into as we talk about it, I'm sure, but overall, not so bad, but it felt stretched out. Again, it felt like a filler episode. It could have been combined with something else to really get that time on the planet whittled down a little bit. And yeah, I do think there were a lot of stupid decisions made on the crew's part. So overall, not too bad. Not as bad as like the gambling one. And
But this is the one before the penultimate, the final three, the epic conclusion, the trilogy of finals. They should be ramping up, shouldn't they, Stuart?
they should be. But anyway, here we are. So what about you? What did you think of it, having just watched it?
It was certainly, if we had seen this in season 2, we'd have praised the TNG vibes and the character exploration, but it would work better in a season where there's actually story happening. Because this is we've earned time to slow down and chill. It should not be episode 11 out of 13. This is a horrendous place to place this as the way it's paced. This episode where it's placed makes the whole season feel worse because you realise there's so little story going on that it's almost an empty season, even with and this is not complaining about the episode itself. It's just, this is not where it should be in a season that should not be constructed this way. You know, it makes the whole season feel worse because, you know, there's nothing at its core besides the two-parter of main story. It's definitely bloated. It's weird, the choice of Detmer stuff. And anything when we have 24 hours left until the end of everyone's lives, it feels odd to include character stuff when you have that few hours. It always feels odd. But in the moment, you can justify, well, they're in their own bubble, fine, whatever. And we got to see Tig, I guess. Great.
The fact that we both don't have much to say about it kind of says it all. You know what I'm saying?
If I was the Booker actor, if I was David, you get some really great meat at the start. The first two, you're thinking, great, I have this great arc. And from then on, it's the same conversations every single episode. We didn't need a seventh, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Look, Booker, this is why you do this. It's like,
we're going to save millions, and then we'll do the right thing. Yeah.
thank you for telling me for the first time after already committing several war crimes or, you know, crimes against the Federation. All of that stuff is just, it's absolutely the most padding fill you could possibly have, and it makes everyone feel stupider because if Booker is finished again and the scientist guy's not noticing, well, I obviously can't trust him because this is the ninth time to remind him. He's not committed if I have to keep reminding him.
Getting aboard the Discovery to do a thing to plant this program so they could hide on the hull or whatever. Interesting idea. I didn't think it was going to go that way at all. And yeah, seeing Jet Reno finally was nice. Hopefully she'll be in the next 2 episodes as well. And we got the Steam Banana reference where he makes the distraction with the replicator, which is a tie into Lower Decks. So that's fun. Good.
All credit to him for that, yeah.
It was a nice little fetch mission or side quest, I guess. And the fact that I had to take Jet Reno hostage is a big red flag for me because how does the crew not realize she's missing? Oh, that's right, because she hasn't been here all season. Nobody's even going to notice.
It's also forcing her into the story for the next 2.
Yeah.
How do you make sure she'll have screen time? By putting her with 2 of our heroes.
But I did like the fact that Booker approached the Federation general, or not the Federation, the Earth general.
Forces, yeah.
And even her reaction to his idea wasn't what I anticipated. She was still very much like, why should I trust you? I should kill you.
Duty.
Here.
She has her own duty and she respects it, yeah.
And she goes, yeah, until, you know, I'll follow you, but, you know, we got to let this first contact thing play out first. You know, if that doesn't work, then we'll... So I like that. And
she was very clear. This is not the main plan. The democracy part is the main plan. If anything else fails, do the thing that's illegal, but it's obviously there was plan B anyway.
Which I didn't expect from her. I expected her to be very much like, let's just go in now, leave them on the planet or something.
And it's not a bad thing to her character, as in to think she would just go that route. It's a very logical thing for my people is at risk. You know, you save your people. No shade. You know, yeah. 100%.
So no, I thought the whole Tarika book thing was done well enough. It was the least amount of screen time of everything. Yeah, the Tarika book stuff I think was good. I think that was the best part of the episode.
So I loved the reference of the armband device that stops you from scanning. That's a voided trope. So lovely, beautiful. Big little box on the arm. I didn't like they could just beam onto the ship through their shields as if it's like not even a line of dialogue. It's that easy.
Well, one could expect the shields to be down. I don't know.
One is not expected to be down next to a Dyson ring 2 Dyson rings, and a sphere. Remember, they're 2 light years away. They're in scanning distance of this alien creature. Their shields ain't down. They can warp in within a few seconds and meet them. Their shields are not down. That is an insane. But that felt really odd. I mean, yes, Tarka's smart to get through them, but if he's smart to get through them, the 10C can get through them, and many people can get through them. In which case, what's the point of having these advanced shields, etc.? So that was a bit daft. I didn't like how it felt so empty. I know the crew is relatively small for the size of the ship, but having a weird empty corridor with shifting lights as if it's a horror film is so stupid. That's not what would be on a ship. Either it would be dark because no one's there, or be bright because it's working. You don't have mood lighting, dramatic horror thing just to go as a horror moment. No, you take them into a crew quarters that's unoccupied and you just have a normal set. So I thought that was daft and illogical. And, I mean, it was fine. It was, everything was too easy and they weren't smart enough. They leave a Jeffries tube of safety where they can't be overheard to talk openly in a corridor about a change to the plan. He could have mentioned it 45 seconds earlier in the Jeffries tube before they went out. I mean, even Jet's just chilling, drinking coffee. No one's busy. Fate of the galaxy and just there's no sense of urgency on the ship. It's very strange.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a problem as well.
I love the line, if replicators go down, we all starve. Very apt, because they haven't grown any food. They've got nothing like that. So that was smart. But
well, the planet thing was cool. It was a former gas giant, which we find out, and it's now been bombarded by asteroids, which destroyed it. So there's craters everywhere, and they find the remains of a being that was would have lived in the gas layers, kind of like a big whale.
Yeah, I was confused about that because they said gas giant, but then they were on solid matter, which was a quarry, and there's a shot where you saw into the sky and there's blue clouds and a blue sky. I didn't get a gas giant vibe from it. It just looked like a moon.
Well, it was a gas giant. That's the core of the gas giant. It would have been a lot bigger with the gas.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think you need that as a statement. It didn't feel that way. It was if you hadn't heard that, you wouldn't have thought that by any means. Because you can have a gaseously high
that's
dense
why they told us.
Atmosphere. Yeah, but if you miss it, I mean, we both often miss one line that defines it. Small thing. I just thought it was it's weird to then see the blue sky. That's through the dust of the practical outside they filmed on, but it was just they're just on a planet.
They go down looking for clues. Okay, fine, no problem. Are we going to ignore the Dyson ring technology? Send Discovery to scan the actual technology that's there, whether it's working or not.
Stretches all of Starfleet's technology.
Yeah, well, rings maybe not, but it's not a Dyson sphere. It's not a huge one, but go scan those while they're on the planet. That's technology. They're looking for something on the planet. Ruins. Not even, look, Dyson rings. Moving on. That's it. That bugged me.
It's probably going to be control centers, data banks, living
power
quarters.
Generation. So you learn a lot about their technology and their circuitry.
Let's go to organic runes rather than technology, which will be we could maybe even hack it and download the database, their entire biological signature, their entire vocal database from the ring. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Wow,
that's the other thing too. The planet was bombarded by asteroids, right? These guys died 1,000 years ago. Maybe they moved. You know what? Maybe 10C destroyed the planet and the inhabitants on it, and those aren't the 10C creatures that you found.
Oh, that'd be a good twist.
That makes the most sense. Because they're big space whales, essentially, that live in a gaseous layer of a gas giant. I mean, yeah, I guess they built a nursery, but...
Well, they planned it. Well, maybe they harvested the gas. Maybe that was the whole thing. Maybe they have to live off the gas, and then once they...
Maybe the gas was rich in boronite.
No, exactly. Oh, that'd be a great twist. Yeah, make it all menacing at the end. Oh, that's great, yeah. And it was just... Because the thing is, they deliberately saw no technology on this planet. I was waiting for them to find, some sort of something. But buildings are not technology. Right, by the sense of what we're thinking. There's no warp tech, there's no anything, there's not even any power signatures. All they got was, we can't detect life signs, that could just be a natural phenomenon. So there's not remotely a hint. That's great. Oh, that would be a good twist.
Yeah. And even the blue stuff that made them all experience fear, the suit's not filtering out, didn't make much sense, but anyway, we fixed that. Okay,
well, it's alien. It was like a transporter. If it's unknown, it can't detect it. That's the whole point of databases. I mean, lots of unknowns go through.
Yeah, I love how we're changing the programmable matter filters. I love that. Just reconfigure. That's the other thing that really bugged me, actually, was when Burnham's like, I'm going to let it in. Okay, fine, cool. You do that. Oh, and then everybody else, before even getting any kind of explanation as to really what's happening. Just it's Joy. Oh, everybody like boop boop boop. All of them. Now they're all infected, and who knows what could happen.
As we know, all drugs, their full effect kicks in instantly. Their entire effect. Side effects are apparent instantly. They should only wait a maximum of 20 seconds before you also ingest unknown drugs. It's science.
And it's not like Colbert was even scanning her while she was doing it. He should have been walking around and scanning her. Then maybe, Saru should have tried it. Colbert should have been the last for sure. But
no,
anyway.
He shouldn't have been at all.
Well, we needed his revelation of, I took my, I was felt at peace because,
No, you didn't.
told me to.
No, you didn't. It's fine. You didn't need that. Sorry. It's a long episode. You didn't need it. It would have been more interesting, and I definitely agree with that, is if each one of them had found a different substance. Because it wouldn't have been just this big, and then they could have put that all together rather than just all experience. Yeah, that would have been...
Yeah, because they all experience fear, then they all experience the joy or the love or whatever. And then we find out later that they sent dots down, which they probably should have done in the first place, to gather, and they gathered a whole bunch of other ones.
16,
16? Okay. I thought it was 26 for some reason. Anyway, 16, and so 16 different emotional drugs, I guess.
Pheromones, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they were experiencing different things. That would have been more interesting, I think.
Because he could have also had them build up so that all the emotions get, It's definitely an episode where the concept is great, right? It was twice as long as it had to be.
Yes.
And
that's the problem we've been having the last couple episodes.
But if the A plot, if the other plot, like you said, had been Dyson rings with Saru, that would have been a lovely, because then you have the duality of this shit's really advanced. This is literally just organic. There's a disconnect here. Or the scales aren't right. These are normal humanoid controls. This is whales. Disconnect. But they're the same son of the same species. They must be the same species. And we're just like, no, that's beautiful. No, that was great. But the story is good. But because they're padding, they introduce these moments of silliness. We didn't need so much of Saru feeling fear. It didn't need so much of it. The fact that when he has a freak out in open space, is in the desert bit, starts pointing a gun, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm sure he's fine." No, end of the universe. You're at least gonna. Colbert's a crappy doctor. I know he's now a psychologist, not a medical doctor, and is abstract his main work. But you're not going to allow this man who's been very, professional for a year and a half now to lose his shit for no reason. Nothing's happened, and allow that to continue. Like, if that's going to happen, have it inside the nursery, not outside. You don't need that setup. You can just build in one step to another. And in regards to the nursery, obviously they've used the LED wall less than I thought they would this year. I'm guessing because Strange New Worlds needs it a lot more, and so they got it first, and then they haven't used it for like 5, so they've kind of shifted. Just, hey, one room, 2 productions, it makes sense. But I thought, a green screen space allows you to have very great depth. That one establishing shot gave a sense of the scope of the room, and obviously you might not remember it as much. I just watched it, but it's very claustrophobic and no scale. Those shots, it's all just close-ups of a gloomy room with sort of organic. You lose all of the perspective, all of the grandeur into just, I guess they're in an organic room. Like, it's very uninteresting and cheaper, obviously. There's a lot of, like, camera angles. I like the way it's filmed because they just can film. But it loses any of that great coolness value. I know it's a destroyed nursery with corpses, arguably not meant to be lovely, fine. But it's very mucky 20 minutes of the episode. And they spend a lot of time talking about science in that room, and it's very unappealing, Whereas you compare to like the rooms in season 3, where the sci-fi castle, they have those great walking shots that are really, really cool. And then you have the smaller stuff in the real sets, and that balance is much, much better. The balance was totally off here. It was real, but by that the limitations were more felt, I thought.
I was just thankful when they made it to the planet it wasn't a rock quarry just outside of Hamilton, Ontario. And then the whole Detmer thing, like, I thought the reason she wasn't getting infected or whatever was because of her implant and her artificial eye and her little whatever. No, she just hadn't touched any of the blue dust yet. I didn't see Burnham touch any blue dust. I watched it twice.
I did. I at least I was following the whole time, and I appreciate they said don't touch us. I at least liked the sense they knew it was probably touch based, etc.
I mean, the Detmer stuff. Who And yeah, like you said, Adira, them just like idolizing Detmer, it's fine.
Yeah, and that was out of left field because Detmer hasn't done that many great things, especially on the ship in front of Adira, who also won't have seen it because they'd be in engineering. So it was
They heard about it though, probably. Like, I love how Jet's like, yeah, ask her how she felt when she crashed, essentially after coming out of a wormhole when she went all, and then she even mentions that Detmer even says my PTSD, therapy this is proven, so.
See, my issue with that end isn't any of the dialogue. It's that the tendency are 2 light years away. That's like a couple of minutes at warp, and yet the tone is right. Everyone's got Earth's gonna be destroyed in 23 hours. Let's all go to the bar and relax for a couple of hours and just chill. Even though literally it would take them, and they can maybe spore drive, but it'll take them minutes to get there. So they're obviously going at warp 1 or 2. So I get it if they want to take it chill and like have time to analyze the things, but to show at warp and it's like, are we there yet? No. Why not? Because we don't want to be. Put that in the dialogue. Like, don't have a chill drink. I'll hang out here for a bit. You're all action stations in your last few hours before the apocalypse moment. You don't.
That's a very, very good point. That's an absolutely brilliant point, actually.
Like, there needed to be once we found the pheromones, there needs to be a group meeting on the bridge where Burnham says, okay, we're 2 light years away. We could be there within the hour. We have 1 hour to make contact. Everyone action stations, and we build up the pace, right? And at the end of the episode, they warp out. We see the thing. Last moment. Now it begins. And they know it's a 2-hour movie. We're going in. To end on such a chill, excruciatingly non-moment is like, are we here to care about this? We're in another galaxy. We've gone through the Great Barrier. This race can destroy planets. This race has the most power ever. They made Dyson rings like it's nothing. None of that comes across in this episode, really. It's so strange.
Yeah, it's definitely got a strange vibe to it.
Like, they're not committing to it. Now, that said, with, like, Control, they committed to the end of the universe stuff, and it was just bad. But you can't introduce these massively... Like, if they hadn't been destroying planets, if it had been a smaller threat, fine. But you create such a giant something. The scale and the pace does not reflect at all the thing they're doing. Who could have predicted going into this season it would take us 12 episodes of 13 to even find the people who are the situation? I would have thought 6, half season. We'd base it at the end.
Well, like we said, I mean, when the season started, there was like the DMA. It's like, ooh, and the next episode focused on something else. We're like, thank you. We didn't want the DMA to be the sole focus of this entire season. And then it kind of, DMA quickly creeped back in, and all of a sudden break. And now it's like they're dragging out what could be 3 episodes into like 7 or 6. And it's like, stop, drag. I don't care anymore. They've dragged it to the point where I don't care.
Like you say, at the start, they had a more diverse story threads. But then once everything became about, now you've got to have Booker be the second plot. That's also do the DMA. So now it's both plots are DMA related. And then Saru and the Admiral now, everything's DMA themed, which is fine if it's a good story, but none of it reaches very interesting points. I mean, it's shocking how little story. I mean, this season might end up being known as dull in Star Trek history. I mean, I'm struggling to think. I mean, maybe Enterprise season 1, but at least they had 24 stories where some are good. And I'm struggling to think of a comparative season of just nothing really happens.
Discovery season 1's better than this because stuff was happening. There was a fast pace all the time, and plot holes galore. Yes, but it was still stuff going on.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Would you rather watch a train wreck of a film or train wreck of a series that's exciting with lots of problems, or a dull thing which hasn't got as many problems but is just dull and uninteresting? Like, train wrecks are fun to watch.
I'd rather watch
literal train
season
wrecks,
1 of I'm at the point where I'd rather watch season 1 of Discovery than this one, and I just finished watching season 1. So
well, there's a reason why people love The Room by Tommy Wiseau. It's shit, right? But there's genius, and you drink it. Like, season 1 is like a drinking game. This is like a snore fest of okay. And seriously, there's no way at this point the last 2 will be exciting enough to pay off. There is no way. Otherwise, you're thinking, why have they saved all the good stuff for the last 2? Because then why do they make 6 of dull, There's no way that's going to be exciting enough. Because the landing now has to be everything. The journey has not been interesting. The landing has to literally be everything.
Well, it's going to be a cliffhanger. It's going to be a cliffhanger going into season 5. They're not going to be able, no matter what happens in the next 2 episodes, they're not going to be able to get back into the galaxy. Hence, going back to Kovach's 3-hour tour reference, I think it's foreshadowing 100%. and that'll be next season. How to get back. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon, comment what you thought about this video, and please join us for the live later today if you're able to. We would really appreciate it. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we look forward to seeing you guys there. Are you just stretching out the outro because they stretch out the episodes now?
Really not, but I watched the episode, so I'm kind of that mindset, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess this is probably where I should tell them goodbye.
You should.
Okay. Tell the audience goodbye. Okay. There's a note here to say goodbye, guys, and we'll see you next time. Did that drag it out? Well, I don't know.
I would listen to that note, Stuart. I'm waiting to audience. I mean, I'm still waiting for him. I can't press cut until he just says it, so I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, no. Goodbye. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
See you next time.
Bye.